Jake, I don't know if you're ready, and I don't know if it's a problem. But
I'm not sure now.
let's
I
just
thought
get
I was.
let's go for it. Let's see what happens, my man.
Okay.
I don't know about you,
Uh-oh.
but this last month, like I thought January and December was busy, but
Mhm.
it just like it seems like things on my end just haven't really let up.
Uh, January was fucked me over really hard.
Yeah.
Just regarding my health, but
Yeah.
February, I mean, it's been okay. I mean, I've had better months to say the least, but
I mean, it could be too that I've just had a lot of stuff I want to do, and then I started the new job and all that.
yep.
And so
Yeah, well, it's always a hectic time when you start a new job.
it is. Mine was extra weird too because I don't know if I
Yeah.
mentioned this on the last episode, but I got COVID my
Right.
last week at that job. And so I couldn't go into the office my last 3 days.
Right.
And that means that like all my work stuff was still in the office. And I was still holding on to like my work laptop and like I had some other work hardware like at home. And so
hmm
like I had to wait until I could test negative to return it.
Oh
And I
man.
wanted to pick up my stuff in person because I didn't want to mail it because I got a lot of toys and stuff and didn't want it broken, you know.
Right.
That would
Yep.
make me really mad if
Yes.
I, left this job and then they mailed
hmm
my stuff back to me and then like Sephiroth Masamune was snapped in half or something like that. And I'd be like, you
Right.
motherfucker.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, you're breaking my toys and mailing them back to me. Like
Yeah.
I will not abide this. I will not abide
Well,
this at all. So,
yeah. hmm
and that was so I wasn't able to actually pick up my stuff until like a week and a half into my new job. But
Wow.
it was good once I finally did that to kind of close the book on that previous job and get in my last
hmm
goodbyes.
hmm hmm hmm
And it was
hmm
super weird going back to that job after I was officially no longer employed
It
there.
al- it always is.
Because like half the people, because I didn't have an official last day in the office, so like a whole bunch of
Sure.
people I hadn't even had a chance to tell I was leaving, and the word hadn't gotten
Ooh.
around. So I was like going around. At first, I wasn't supposed to be in the office without an escort, and there was this one person in HR who used to be super lovely and nice, was suddenly
Yeah.
super cold and not friendly at all.
Oh
And like
man.
And so I didn't let her know I was at the office, and I had one of my old like design people come downstairs and let me in. So I was
Jeez.
bumming around the office without an escort and going into people and saying goodbye and returning all my gear and
Sure.
having chats. And
Right.
it was cool, but also a little awkward. And then when I went down to HR, that lady was like, "Oh shit, he's in the office." And I'm like, "Yeah, I just said
hmm
goodbye to everybody else." And you could see her eyes light up, like, "What do you mean you've been running around in the office without an escort?"
Yeah, she's
And then
losing her mind.
there was
Yeah.
other people in HR I wanted to talk to and say goodbye to, and she was blocking the way into the room.
Oh snap.
Yeah, and I'm like trying,
Like,
and like
mhm.
I'm not trying to be rude and just shove my way in, but I'm like, hey,
Oh,
is
he
so,
just run her over like
and
a
I'm just
fucking
like,
running back.
is so and so here? And then like the like HR director peeked his head out of his office and was like, Rich, come on in. And I just kind of smiled at her like this big shit-eating grin, like I know you were trying to prevent me in the office, and your
Right.
boss just invited me in.
What are you gonna do now, bitch?
Exactly. So I just sauntered on in nice and slow, and
Mhm.
yeah,
I would have been strutting. I'd have just
it
been like,
was a good
oh,
time. So I
fuck yeah.
had my last goodbyes on my way out and picked up all my stuff and everything was good. And then
hmm
after
hmm
that, it finally felt like I was starting the job proper,
Gotcha.
which is appropriate because before
hmm
that point,
hmm
I didn't have much to do. Coincidentally, at the new job,
Right.
like they were kind of easing me in.
Sure.
And right
Yeah.
after that
hmm
point, it's like the honeymoon period ended.
And they just bulldoze you with shit.
Oh yeah, and like I don't know if other people feel this way, but like
hmm
whenever I start a new job,
Yep.
for like the first month or two,
hmm
and this isn't Final Fantasy related, but we'll get to Final Fantasy soon. I know you're all very
Right.
patient people by now. You're through this.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know what you're in for with damn Chocobo. The
Yep.
I have this feeling when I start a new job where everything just like I'm gonna get fired like every fucking day. I'm like I'm fucking up constantly. Nothing I do is up to snuff. Everyone is disappointed.
Right.
It's been like this way like every single job I've ever had professionally. And like
Yeah.
now I know this. Now I know my brain's lying at me. So now like lying to me. So
hmm
now rather than keeping my aggression inwards, I point it
Oh man.
outwards. So now I'm like these motherfuckers are just The
You just whip,
pickiest people. Like, what
you
the
just whip your dick out right there in front of everybody, don't you?
No, I don't, not necessarily like that. It's more just like because before, like, it's always like
Uh-huh.
you get like as a designer, you're getting back like a ton of more revisions than you're used to. People are asking for like design changes that you would never do in a million years, and you're just like,
Hmm.
wow, I must be terrible. I can't do anything right. That's how it used to be, and now I'm just like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is with these people and these weird ass and like, and it's worse now because I'm coming. I mean, I was like the manager at my previous job, and now
Hmm.
now I'm a
Hmm.
senior designer. I'm not the design boss anymore.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I used to be beholden to other people out over the design before, and that was irritating
Right.
enough. But now I'm being critiqued by other designers on the team, and it's just like I just got like this cartoon giant vein throbbing in my forehead every time I get revisions, and I'm just like, they're just trying to get used to you. You're just feeling
Right.
each other out. You're
Yep.
new. This happens every time you start a new job. You're not
Hmm.
terrible. They just need to see. They're just trying to feel how you do things, and you're trying to feel how they do things. And it's like,
Right. You're just trying to learn the ropes and
and I'm just
each
like,
other's.
and it's
Yeah.
always hard, especially at this point, because I'm like, I'm really good at this shit, and I've been
Hmm.
doing it for just as long, if not longer, than everybody I work with. So I'm
Hmm.
like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty fucking good for the most part.
Okay.
Sometimes, but also I've made some legitimate mistakes, like asking
Hmm.
questions for something that is buried within the directions. Like the very
Hmm.
last line in the notes or something will answer the question that I asked. Like that sort of thing. It's on
Uh-huh.
me. But other times it'll just be like weird nitpicky stuff, like the font's too big, and then you change it, and it's like it's still too big, and I'm like, I've been
What do
doing
you
this. I've been doing
want?
this job professionally for almost 20 years. And you're
Right.
asking me for things like I know how big things should be.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like a child, like a newbie, like a junior
Hmm.
designer, and tell me I should print something out to see what it looks printed. I know how it looks printed. I've been doing this,
Hmm.
but it's like I'm trying to give them a little bit of leeway because I like the people I work with. They're good people, and they're just kind of every job. The people just have their way of doing things.
Sure.
And I think I'm just unusual when it comes to design. Like, and I talk to other designers about this, and they all agree until they're the ones who get to make a decision on design changes. And I'm like, so you don't actually agree with me. And that is like, I hate revision requests that are purely based on personal opinion. Like,
Okay.
because like design is very
Yeah.
subjective more than other things. It's like,
Yes.
in a lot of other fields, you either cleaned the floor or you didn't. Your program
Yeah.
either works or it didn't. But with design, there's so much subjectivity.
Yes.
And so for
I would
me, it's
agree.
always like, if you're going to request a design change,
Hmm.
it either needs to correct information that I did incorrectly, like I used the wrong
Hmm.
colors,
Hmm.
the copy there's a misspelling, you
Hmm.
missed something that's a part of this that should have been included, something like that,
Right.
like an
Or
actual
something just doesn't fit
yeah,
just right.
something is tangibly wrong. But when it comes
Yes.
down to actual design things, like I don't like this font, I don't like this color, if it comes to I would prefer or I don't like, that is not
Hmm.
a good design change.
Right.
If you can't tangibly tell me why this will improve the piece, then
Right.
what you are asking me to do is opinion based,
Hmm.
and you're literally you're not making it better, you're just making it fit your aesthetic preference. And your aesthetic
Yes.
preference is not the client's.
Right.
Every client has a different aesthetic preference. So like
Hmm.
what I did isn't wrong. And like you'll talk
Hmm.
to other designers and they'll be like, "Yeah, that's how I like things too." And then the second they get
Hmm.
an opportunity to review your work, they're like, "You should change this, you should change this, you should change that." And I'm like, "Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine." I feel like I'm overstating the
Hmm.
how the team I'm working with is. Like I'm exaggerating, but there's been
Right.
moments of unusual like pickiness that I'm unused to dealing with at this point in my career. But like
Yes.
it's this sort of situation where I step back and I tell myself I'm paid very well to do this job, and so
Right.
I
Hmm.
guess like it's the sort of thing where I guess I kind of just got to suck it up and deal with it and wait till I've proven myself enough to get people off my back.
Yeah, I've got a similar situation with IT in that
Yeah.
capacity, where like for instance, the rules of thumb with IT is you're a general contractor,
Mhm.
okay? You are not a plumber. You are not an electrician. Sure, there are sometimes you can fudge things or, massage things to get them to work. Like if like moving an outlet maybe, or, something, you get where I'm going with this a little bit. But
yeah.
But a lot of people, like I've got one individual that, I don't think it was this week. I think it was last week. The week, like 2 weeks ago, she literally bitched about everything. Okay, like the her calendar colors weren't the way they like disappeared one time. All the events were still there, but they just defaulted to all one color at one point. Or how like okay, she wanted to look at the month, like a month at a time in her calendar. Okay. Yeah. But she wanted to be able to see all the events on each day at that level.
Oh, well, if you have a lot of events, they're not going to fit.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Once you get to beyond 3 or 4, there's just no way that you're going to be able to fit it all into that one little box. And that's what I was trying to tell her. I was like, there's some things that just will not fit. But she's like, I gotta be able to see these because I'm doing all this other. I'm like,
well, then you're gonna have to look at a more zoomed, like a more granular view.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was telling her. I was like, well, just skip to the week or whatever, because she was doing timesheets. So she's looking at people's days off and things along those lines, what was going on, but if you have like 3 or 4 people having the same day off, or maybe they're getting more granular than that, like there was a couple of hours here or a couple of hours there that they were taking off or whatever. Well, you get so many you can't see it, and then but she wants to be able to view it from that capacity. It's like, just give me a win here, okay? Come on.
You gotta meet the program halfway.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
To tie this into Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't
know how we will.
I can. I've done an episode on it. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, the MMO. And one thing I have to say that I've had a really good experience with is that in the random groupings that I've had, the duties or whatever, it's when you randomly group with random people in order to do required dungeons that are required group content. And I'm a tank. Generally, in the past and most games I've played, people can be really shitty to people who are role specific if you're not doing your role well. And I have gotten no complaints about my tanking, which is good because nobody has died I haven't let anybody die yet. Okay. And I'm in like the level 30 something quest, so I'm still really early. Sure. Like I haven't even gotten through a Realm Reborn yet. Like it's really taking my fucking sweet time to get through this shit. But I'm enjoying my time. I'm taking my time with it. But like, there's this like thing I've always kept in my back of my. It's my comeback though. If anybody ever bitches, like, and then if somebody bitches about my tanking, is like, but did you die? Like if you didn't die, get the fuck off my. If you're not happy about my my tanking, if you didn't die, you got nothing to bitch about.
Right.
If the party didn't fucking wipe,
right?
Then like give me some credit. And thankfully I haven't gotten to that point. But if everybody fucking dies and we lose and we got to do something over, then you know what? Fine, get on my case. But like it's never happened. Nobody's gotten on my case. Everyone. Yep. There's very little chatting, honestly. Right. In the grouping I've done, which is fine. I don't feel like talking to people. But the fact that I've had good experiences is cool, and it's to the point where the fact that in later dungeons you can use AI companions instead of real people, and you can and they're based on the latest live stream about Final Fantasy 14, where they kind of went through the last 10 years and what they're going to be doing for the next 10 years. Kind of an overview thing. One of the things they mentioned is trying to increase the ability to play solo in the MMO base for the Final Fantasy games, which almost made it sound like they're not only doing it for 14 but also 11, since 11's still running, which is cool. But
I'm
it's like
surprised it's still running. I figured it'd have been. I mean, that's a 20-year game. That's like World of Warcraft.
They were originally going to scuttle it, but then the pandemic hit and the numbers boomed. So, like, I think it's just legacy content at this point, and they're still updating it even. Like, it's still making money, you know, and it's mostly done. So
that's
good on them.
That's pretty intense.
And you know, if they make that game more solo friendly, I'll go back and give it a go. I would gladly go back.
Think that one I actually might do because I don't think I gave it a fair shake the first time around.
You know, in like 37 years when I finish 14, if 11's still running, and I bet at this point it's going to, I think it's going to be, I don't think they have any plans on shutting it down at this point. I think we should give it a go. Like, just take our time.
We never really gave it a fair shake.
We really didn't, and I think that would be a fun one to go back to. So maybe one of these days, let's do that. But maybe, yeah. That said, my Final Fantasy 14 playing, I'm still going to do another episode or two in the near future talking about the Gladiator quest, because I finished the Gladiator quest line and moved on into Paladin. I at least want to do another episode here sometime within the next couple weeks, whether it's by myself or with Jake. Thanks for the people who gave us good feedback on the solo episode. You're all very kind. But I
wouldn't be. Ruthless fuckers.
Elden Ring just came out like 2 days ago, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. Okay, I just want to say it just came out. It's taken over my life right now. For those who don't know, it's basically Dark Souls 4, 5, 6. Like it's an open world Dark Souls by the people who made Dark Souls and Bloodborne and that shit. Like the whole.
That's the reason why it's getting such. People are going crazy. I was wondering if it had something to do with Dark Souls.
Yeah, it was by that team, and it's written the story and lore and everything is written by George R.R. Martin.
Oh.
Yeah. They hired him.
It's intriguing.
Yeah. So
still won't play it, but intriguing.
It's an interesting. I don't know. I've only played a little bit so far, very little, and but I'm having a good time so far. It's a really good time. Yeah, and reading a lot of Batman because Batman comes out this next week.
Oh, jeez.
Do you got tickets? You gonna see it? Of course you're gonna see it. You'll see it. I'm seeing it Thursday.
I don't know.
Thursday, so I'm really excited to catch it.
There are some intriguing facets to it, but I don't know. The way that what they did to the Riddler, it just breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that. How it's a bummer how they made him so
Saw-y,
dark and edgy and Saw-like a fucking serial killer sort of thing. And I'm like, fine. No. But you know, I've been rereading old Batman stuff. Like I started like Death in the Family, and I'm reading through all the '90s events. So I got through Nightfall, Knight's Quest, Knight's End, Prodigal. There's one right after that where Batman, because Prodigal is with right after the Knight's Quest stuff. Bruce Wayne goes off on one other little adventure after earning the Bat title back from Azrael. He's like, I'm Batman again, but I'm gonna go do something else. And Dick,
after his back is broken.
Yeah, well, he's healed. Like he's healed up and he's good again. But beats up John Paul Valley to get the mantle of the Bat back, and then immediately is like, here, Nightwing, you be Batman. I'm gonna go on vacation. So like literally the very first storyline after Knight's End is Bruce Wayne taken off and given the bat suit to somebody else again. So, but it's cool. And then there's like a storyline after that where Bruce Wayne takes the mantle of the bat back again and wears a slightly like a darker grayish blue costume again.
Kind of like the old school Batman a little bit.
Oh, it's supposed to be tonally similar to like the Burton movies where it's a black suit in those. So they just made the grays and the blues super dark, almost black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like at first glance it looks like he's wearing a black costume like the Burton suit.
Gotcha.
But it's just super super dark colors.
Super dark.
Yeah. And then I read after that Contagion, which is a really cool story of like a virus getting out in Gotham City. And then after that, there's like a pseudo sequel to that, like 6 months later, called Legacy, which also features the return of Bane after the Knight's Quest, Knight's End shit.
Oh, wow.
But it's supposed to be a sequel to Contagion, and Contagion's about a virus getting loose in Gotham. And Legacy is less about the virus getting loose and more about Ra's al Ghul and Bane trying to start another pandemic and the Bat family stopping them before it happens. So it's related, but it feels less like it's kind of a sequel, but it's very different. So
Gotcha.
Now I'm about to read Cataclysm, which leads directly into No Man's Land. So that's like the big, big, big 90s. Like one of the more celebrated eras of Batman, because during that era
Mm-hmm.
is when like the big name writers, Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker, get on the Batman books, and their like mainstream careers explode in comics. So
Oh wow.
that's like when the Batman books suddenly go from being like just like liked but not great to suddenly really awesome. So I can't wait to
Okay.
read. I've never actually read all of those. I've read bits and pieces, but never like the whole event. So I'm really excited to do that now.
When was the Killing Joke?
Killing Joke with 80s before.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like this. The late 80s was like this time when Batman stuff was like when they made Batman even more dark and edgy.
Right.
So you have the Killing Joke with I think everybody knows Killing Joke by now.
Mm-hmm.
Death in the Family, which is the death of the Robin, the second Robin,
Okay.
Jason Todd. And then there's also Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison, which is like just a really fucking rough night at Arkham Asylum where all the fucking guys break out and Batman's got to go in. And it's notable because it's a really fucked up storyline, but also the art's done by Dave McKean, who's best known as the painter who did all the covers for the Vertigo Sandman series. So it's got this really surreal and dark and fucked up like art aesthetic. So yeah, that all is like right before like the 90s like explosion shit that really takes off with Nights.
Isn't there one that's like the Long Halloween as well?
Long Halloween, it was like late 90s.
Oh.
It came out in the late 90s. But it takes place in like time-wise like year 2-ish.
Oh,
so if you were to read Batman in order, you would read like year 1, year 2,
sure,
Long Halloween, Dark Victory. Dark Victory is the sequel to Long Halloween by the same team, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
Gotcha.
And that's just like a year-long adventure with Batman. Dark Victory is like another thing that's similar to Long Halloween, but it features like him getting. It's like the Robin story, picking up Robin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of Batman talk and other game talk and job talk, but we should get on to Final fucking Fantasy.
Yeah.
Jake.
Richard.
I think it's time for Damn Chocobo.
Damn that Chocobo.
Jacob.
Richard.
We have been playing Final Fantasy Tactics for what feels like 8 billion years, and I'm looking forward to wrapping this motherfucker up.
A little bit, yeah.
However, I've been having a blast playing it.
Yes, it has been enjoyable. I don't think we really anticipated how long the battles were going to be.
I think we didn't, like always, we failed to... It's typical us. We fail to anticipate the amount of shit that's going to get in the way and prevent us from doing this side hobby that we do.
Right.
That said, if I'm going to keep going back to a game over and over...
It's going to be Dark Souls.
I mean, it's going to be that or Final Fantasy Tactics, because this is good shit. Where did we leave off last episode? Do you remember?
Well, it was just after the fight at Limbury Castle, basically.
Right. And whose ass did we kick?
We kicked Cardinal Dracula. No. That was a mistake. Marquis Elmdor. That's what it was.
And his assassin ladies.
His lackeys that were like fucking bitches that I can't stand.
Exactly. I think the last story segment we got was the queen or princess, whatever. Ovelia hanging out in the castle when Sid's son, whose name escapes me, but you always remember names and I don't.
Olaf, you know the one?
Olin stumbles in all bloody and is grabbed by knights and
Yep.
they think that he's threatened her,
Right.
but I think it's because he's captured and he escaped. They had him captured and he escaped in the castle, and Delita tracks him down,
Mm-hmm.
has a little chat with him. I think we talked about that last episode. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Where this playthrough opens up, I believe we get a little story cinematic. It's around that same time. We may have talked about him at the same time, but if not, your older brother, Ramza's not his oldest, but older,
Mm-hmm.
but not oldest, investigates their father's grave and finds mushrooms. And
Moss fungus.
yeah, and has a chemist with him who can identify it, and
Mm-hmm.
is
He confirms.
confirms the stuff that he overheard the older brother talking about.
Right. Dice Dark, you bastard.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
He killed Balbanes. He deserves an ass whipping.
He deserves something.
Yeah.
At this point, storyline wise, we are after
Mm-hmm.
on our way to Egros Castle, but in my version of the game, there's an optional battle.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ain't you, Mr. Fancy Pants?
Yeah, in Dorder, there is a random battle that can happen with a guy named Cletien, I believe.
Whoever the fuck he is, and why do we care about him? I have no idea.
He's a dude who is sent by Lord Fulmarv to come after you.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and he kind of gets a jump on you in town. He stops Ramza with time magic, and because he's basically sent to take your ass out.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, Meliadul, who has just joined your party, saves your ass.
That was nice of her.
Yeah, and so you have a battle with him and a couple knights, and it's not a particularly difficult fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like him and 2 time mages, a black mage, and 2 summoners.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a sort of thing that could be nasty, but
Mm-hmm.
I think
It is what it is.
this is more just giving the Meliadul, is that her name? Are we pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, that's what I would call it.
It's basically giving her a little more character.
Yeah.
She gets a moment to kind of speak with
speak her
somebody
mind.
whom she worked with, and then kick his ass on your side, and
Oh yeah.
come to grips with some shit that has happened to her.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Handing out ass whippings.
Yeah. So he's mostly just buying time. So
Gotcha.
anyway, it's not a big deal, but it's cool. She does ask him if her to confirm if her dad is really Lucavi.
Mm-hmm.
And all he has to say is, see for yourself. Find out. Fucking find out. Fucking find out,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all right. So either way, that leads to the mission that we both did
Yes.
at Egros Castle.
Yes. Egros. Or Igros,
Mhm.
or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And this is kind of interesting because you basically you're fighting Dice Darg, who's a Loon Knight.
Yeah.
And,
but before you even get to that point, there's a little cinematic where Ramza walks up to the castle gate, and Zolbag's mount is waiting by the door. So he's like, "Huh, that's weird."
Oh.
And then he heads on in.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay. So. Anyways.
Well, it's relevant because then you kind of come in and you see Zolbag confronting his older brother Dice Dark about what he fucking did.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of douchebag are you?
Yeah. It's like, you think you're after everything you fucking done, you think you're fit to fucking lead our house? And he's
you're out of your goddamn mind.
and he's like, motherfucker, I'm the only one with the nuts to do this job.
Oh yeah, I'll show you my nuts.
Yeah,
I'll give you these nuts.
Yeah, so this is honestly a cool this whole scene is a good moment because it feels like something this whole game has been building to. This conflict between brothers, you know?
Half brothers, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think Zolbag and Dystarg are brothers. Full-blooded brothers, and Ramza's like a half-brother.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The house of
Beelvov or Beelvov or whatever.
Whatever, yeah. Is kind of, in many ways, a lot of this game is kind of like, the background of it is the fall of that house, really, you know?
In a sense.
This family, like, it opens with your father kind of being on
his deathbed
and Ramza's relationship with his brothers and his sisters, and like how it all, and even like his Delita is kind of like in some ways almost like a brother to him, and that falls apart, or you know, in that first chapter because of his blood brothers, and so like
you know, I'm gonna take a step back here, and it almost feels like the Starks from Game of Thrones. Except for the fact that they're actually a little bit more willing to work with each other versus these ass chats.
Yeah, are actively working against each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
you know, but there is a little, you know, I've described this game ever since I've seen Game of Thrones as like, if Game of Thrones had a video game,
sure,
it would be like Final Fantasy Tactics has that feel more than most fantasy games, you know.
Absolutely.
It's the story and the political drama and family drama.
The machinations.
Yeah, the whole thing. The scope of it. And yeah, this is a cool battle because you're fighting
your brother.
Yeah, and protecting your other brother.
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting to say the least. So
what did you think of this fight? You get in there, it's a 2-floor battle. You're on the bottom floor. There's a raised floor with like a little like arch that you can run under to get to stairs that lead up there. Zolbag is surrounded by Dystarg and four knights, I think.
It says 5 in my walkthrough here.
All right,
so.
5 knights. 5 knights, yeah.
Yeah. And you have to protect Zolbag.
You need to move to get to him because he's about to get wrecked. Yeah, and it's
not easy too. Yes. And that's not easy by any means, okay? But I was a little indifferent about this fight. I mean, one of the biggest annoyances was the height. That was an issue that I had because I have a lot of tanks.
Yeah. So
it makes it kind of hard to get. I mean, they're ninjas, so they can move quick. But even then, I mean, it takes almost 2 turns to get around that bend.
I mean, I think that's why it's good. Like all these like knight skills are important. Like guys with the sword skills are kind of elevation indifferent. So you just need to get close so you can just whack them from the bottom floor still.
Sure.
I've been taking Balthier with me, and he's ranged. So he right off the bat he can pop 1 or 2 of them. Like he can get them.
Right.
But Ramza was a black mage at this point because I was working on getting my way through to get to Dark Knight. And so this stretch was rough for me because I was still like, I feel like the black mage part of getting through the Dark Knight job requirements is a hassle. Like I'm not a big magic user in general, so being forced to do a ton with it is a huge pain in the ass in this game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I resorted to like, so I believe I have both Agrius and Orlando in the fight with this, and we just pummeled them with like Holy Explosion and things along those lines.
Oh yeah, you're ready to go.
And then I think I did do some Holy, just because it was able to single out some of those guys. Versus some of the others. Because I do remember using Holy on one of the knights that incapacitated him, so that helped my cause a little bit. So, but ultimately, I mean, I was thinking this was going to be another, what was it, Malak and what's her face's situation where you had to bum rush and try to get everybody attracted to you to get into that fight, and it wasn't near as extreme like that. So they didn't like target Dystarg or didn't target Zalbag like exclusively like they did her. Oh man, that was brutal.
Yeah.
So
I think I was enough of a threat that they had
Mhm.
to deal with me right away.
Mhm.
Which goes in to also show that Dystark's pretty badass. Like he can
He can be,
he
yeah.
can throw down, and he's got a lot of resistances. So
Mhm,
like
mhm,
I mean you
mhm.
got to pummel him in order to get anything done because he can.
Yep.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
And
So I just
and
remember
like a
hitting him
lot of
with
big
Holy.
yeah I mean like a lot he's basically got like the skills that Agrius has, and he hits for some big fucking numbers, you know. So.
Mhm. Right. So
Uh,
it was.
and this fight has a nice
Mhm.
I feel like it's not nice in so much as it's like you kind of see it coming. But
Okay.
when you finally lay him low,
Mhm.
he gets possessed by the
The
stone,
the
the stone.
Lukavi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and becomes Aldramech.
Ultramech.
The
Mhm.
what is it? Yeah, the Wrath, Aldramech the Wrath. Not even Wrath,
Ooh.
the Wrath. And he looks like more of like a typical demon, like
Yep.
a devil demon. He's like a goat with like the horns, and he's got wings. Oh, they're teeny tiny wings.
They're teeny tiny
They're teeny
wings.
tiny wings. He kind of looks like he's bound too, which I think is interesting. Like that's an interesting design aesthetic. I don't know what that means, but it looks like his arms are bound.
I gotta look him up just for the
Yeah,
sake of argument
yeah,
here.
yeah. Look it up. Google it.
50, just to figure out remember what he looked like.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. All right.
And Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I'm trying to focus. Yeah, he's got some sort of goofy shit on his back. Yeah, he looks like bound. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
his arms are bound to his body. Like yeah.
Yeah, like there's like a rope around
Yeah.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
definitely different.
yeah, more than that, like that thing
Mhm.
appears in other games,
Mhm.
but that's the design that I'm specifically referring to is
Mm.
Tactics. So either way, it's a cool fight. He's tough. I don't know. Is there anything like
Holy.
all these guys? You just holied him to doom immediately.
Yeah, basically. Holy.
Did Holy hit for the same numbers that it did
No, not near six.
before?
Not with Agrius. No, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I mean, it was it,
Satisfactory.
yeah. I mean, I didn't struggle with the fight. Let's put it that way. So
yeah, I mean, my guys at this point are hard dudes. Like,
Mhm.
like I'm not worried
Right.
going into these fights for the most part. So
My biggest issue is, and this is a whine. This is not like a legitimate complaint. Okay, and it's always a whine when we get to the stage of the game is status effects.
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, honestly, I don't think he even really did a whole lot of status effects against me either.
yeah.
So that is what it is in a sense. It's
Yeah.
But I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with him. At least nothing memorable. It wasn't like that one bastard that we had before at frickin' Limberry Castle. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't like, but it's like when you finally defeat him, like Ramza has this moment where he's like, the House of Beelview is no more. Like it's done. Like
Yep.
it's fallen. It's over. Like.
But what does it matter? We are the sum of our deeds, not our names.
Yeah, that's right. Deep. Oh, Ramza. In your case, what your name means is a lot of money, honestly. Let's be real. With those resources, you can get a lot of shit done.
Exactly. So yeah. But
that leads to our next moment.
Oh yeah.
And we should probably kind of take a moment to mention, like, how are the random battles going for you at this point in the game?
They're
because we haven't really pointed them out very much.
Not of late, no.
Yeah. They scale with your level, so the higher your level, the tougher they get. And I'm finding at this point, like, I'm starting to run into more, like, there's more variety. and enemy that I'm running into. So it's not
mm-hmm.
just the typical monsters, the goblins,
Right.
the water demon looking things that look like priests, like some sort of like
Mm-hmm.
I can't they look like they have like the octopus face thing going on.
Oh,
They look like they're from some sort of
something like out of Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah, I was thinking more like that horror writer, like the psychological horror from the turn of the century. God, fucking, he's super famous and racist.
Well, not Stephen King, but
no, he's not turn of the century. Like,
no.
God damn it.
Edgar Allan Poe? No.
No.
That was later.
The demon, like Cthulhu,
Oh.
Lovecraft. They look like Lovecraftian, like sort of like horrors.
Gotcha.
There's those and like all that sort of shit, but you're also getting like more human enemies in fights, and I'm getting like black chocobos in fights, which suck more because they can revive dudes from the dead.
Right.
They got a range attack.
Sure.
I'm starting to get the red chocobos. We can do Chocobo Meteor.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a motherfucker.
Yep.
So like, they're not hard fights. I'm rolling right through them without trouble, but they are more of a threat than they've been in some time.
Yep. They're more of an annoyance to me more than anything.
So I mean, for me, they're necessary because I'm trying to grind up levels and stuff for to get, I needed to grind up Cloud, and now I need to grind out the through stuff to get to Dark Knight with Ramza. So it's character building requires me to do a lot of random battles. And,
right.
Yeah.
I've kind of found where I want to be with a lot of the characters at this point. Trying to move Orlando through some of those other functions to get some of those cooler, situations is just more of a pain in the ass more than anything. So I've just left him with the Holy Knight function and gone from there.
That's smart. You don't need to put him on anything else, really.
Yeah. I did. I mean, just because we had the longevity, I did, cycle Agrius through a lot of it. Right now I've got her in the samurai role. I think what I'm going to try to do is do 2 hands. Yeah. And then move her back to Holy Knight. I think that's what her original role was. And then that way, I mean, she'll be able to have, so much more going for her, and she'll have some more capability. But like the only other one that I'm really trying to, I'm trying to get cycled through at this point is, Reese is the big one. Getting her, right now she's mastered, Black Mage. And I've got to get her like through the other magic spells. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it could be. She could be like with that Dragon's Breath stuff. I'm not going to rely on Holy Bracelet. I mean, it's such a hit and miss factor that it's kind of a pain. It's more of a because you don't know if it's going to hit or not. So I mean, when it hits like a motherfucker, but there's so much space there for it to, not hit that it's like, well, what's the point?
Okay, so, I'm being interrupted again.
Sure.
Your help. I broke my house. The little snow came off, and the house came into places, and I can't do it.
Okay, let's go fix it. I could have and should have edited that out, but I'm so deeply amused by the voice of my daughter just flipping her shit out because her little playhouse thingy came apart that I'm actually leaving that little bit in because it's amusing to me. But about like 3 minutes later, I'm back and the podcast continues starting right now. Sweet. Well, you know what? Enough of that. Let's move on to story.
Story.
The next story battle takes place where?
St. Marone Temple.
And we get a little cinematic here of Full Marv and a couple of his Templar douchebags.
Yep.
Interrogating one of the High Confessor Marcel. And this old bearded fucker is like...
Is this Funeral Marcel? Are they the same person?
They probably are. That's just what he is for me.
Because he's fucking this guy in the ass, so...
This guy gets wrecked.
Yes.
Like the scene opens with a sword embedded in his fucking chest.
Yeah,
and,
we're talking about the same guy. Yep.
Yeah, and he's just like, He's like, oh fuck. And Fulmar's like, dude, yeah, I was gonna use you. I was gonna use you to get the Orosite, but well, you know, the kids already got them all, so you're fucking worthless. What do you got for me? And he's like, I don't know, I don't understand. And he's like, all right, how do I get the fucking Necrohall? And the guy's like, I don't know what you mean. And he's like, you better tell me this or you're gonna fucking die. And he's like, it's underneath here, this place. And he's like, well, how do I break the seal? And he's like, with the scriptures. And he's like, fuck, the kid's got the goddamn scriptures. Fuck this old piece of shit. And he turns around and walks away while one of his dude just shanks him in the back and leaves.
Yeah, pretty much is the case. It's kind of fitting that his name is Funeral.
For you. Like, I know I should feel bad for this dude, but like, even I'm kind of irritated by him too. So
he was with, in my opinion, he was with the church, and the church was the devil. So
I mean, at this point, the church does not seem like they were the good guys, so I don't really have a ton of empathy.
No.
I just love how it opened. Yeah. The scene opens with a sword embedded in his fucking chest, and I'm like, oh, well, you might survive if you give me the info I need. Like, oh, okay. Psych.
Stab.
Oh, fuck that dude.
Yeah, he's... What kind of piece of shit are you? Jeez.
I mean, I just like how he had to know that he was fucked. And rather than go out like a champ, he went out like a bitch just begging. Like, doing whatever. Like, I'm going to spill whatever you need.
Yeah, get on my knees and let me suck you off, basically.
Yeah, and it was like, great. You're bad at it. Stab. This leads to a battle outside the church. With a bunch of assholes who are stationed all over the castle and around it, and like half your dudes are in. It's not a castle, the church. Yep. You got like 3 guys in front, 2 in the back. I don't know, kind of a nondescript. I like the environment. It's a really cool battle map. I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger. This is another one of those ones that I would have loved, like a bigger scale fights that would like have multiple things, like multiple buildings like this, and more area around it. Like, it could be wild, but then the battles might get too long. I don't know.
Could be, yeah, a little bit.
But it's a cool map to move around and navigate. Really good one if you have characters who can ignore height or have a really high jump, because then you could just go where the fuck you want and end these dudes.
Yeah, I didn't have that ability, so it was like, well...
Half my guys have good jumps, but not enough. Not enough to just jump up this roof or ignore height with the Dragoon to just like, boop, I'm going to jump the highest point of this thing.
Right.
It's like, what are the bad guys here? There's
2 mediators, 2 geomancers, a priest, and a summoner.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
And
that summoner could get nasty, but the rest of them I'm not too worried about.
The only thing, you got to be careful about the mediators, because they could actually invite your party members to join them. So
they could if you don't. I did not let them live long enough to do that.
Yeah.
The summoner has a pretty nasty position where it takes a little bit to get to him.
Sure.
So that's kind of like what I considered my big threat. And obviously white mages are a problem because they can bring people back.
Right.
But
I just basically I made them close ranks and just piss pounded them. So I mean, I basically opened the fight by annihilating the Geomancer, and it just kind of moved on from there. It's just like, Geomancer dead, Mediator dead, and then everybody just closing in on the White Mage and the Summoner up top. Right.
I think there's like another Geomancer up there. Like, it's like the fight started, and like, we got the high ground, and then very quickly they're like, oh shit, half our party's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, because
fuck you and the high ground.
I think I took out a Geomancer and a Mediator right off the bat, and then Orlando ended up chasing the Summoner around the map.
Like, in Batman Begins, like there's that scene when like Ra's al Ghul is standing, or like Ra's al Ghul gets knocked on the ground by Bruce, and Bruce is standing, and we're taught at this point, like, dude, we always think in nerd movies, the high ground always wins.
Yeah.
But mind your footing.
Yeah, he's like, you sacrificed sure footing for a killing stroke.
Yeah. And that's why I'm looking at these, like, they're like, we got the high ground. I'm like, bitch, I am the ground. He's ruined.
Bitch, I like that. Bitch, I am the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I just made him close ranks and circle the wagon, so to speak, and then I just overwhelmed, taking one down at a time. So
I do find that like in any fight where they don't have like a special character, like some named notably badass dude,
right,
it's kind of just a beatdown, right?
yeah, sort of sometimes,
And as it should be, I think, unless and I think it's not so much that it's gotten easier as much as like how early game, how even when you have the battle in hand, the things can turn on a dime.
sure.
The later into the game you get, your ability to hold control or hold the kind of hold ranks, keep your shit together, or recover if you fuck up, increases. Because like early game, you don't your ability to fix things if you fuck up.
Yeah, the gloves are on still.
If things take a bad turn, you can go from 0 to fucked right away. And here it's like I'm in control of the fight, and like it's like the difference between a good boxer and a great boxer. Like the great guy like could fuck up and have the good guy get a really good hit on him, but the guy's really good, and like the likelihood of that happening is low.
Sure.
Yeah, or wrestling. You got the fucking Undertaker versus
the 1, 2, 3 kid.
I mean, yeah, the 1, 2, 3 kid was solid mid tier guy. One of the new age outlaws. Like the Road Dog. Road Dog. The Undertaker is gonna have that fight largely well within hand, and that isn't to say those other dudes aren't capable of holding titles. They can be a title. They can do like fucking. They can have the USA title or the international title or the tag team titles. They're not world champion,
No. Well,
yeah.
I mean, come on. Let's put this thing. Let's just put it in perspective in general, okay?
Yeah.
The Undertaker is twice the 1, 2, 3 kid size.
At least he's like 3, 1, 2, he's like X-Pac. That's X-Pac.
Yeah,
he's
X-Pac.
The Undertaker's like 3.5 X-Pacs.
Exactly. So it's like, that's a no-brainer unless you severely handicap the Undertaker in some capacity.
Yeah, like what that's not gonna work in his favor whatsoever.
But I mean, it's not to say that X-Pac can't get a shot or two in, but
sure, yeah, but he's not gonna.
He's not gonna put him down.
Yeah, he's not gonna bring it home. Like
it's just not happening. So, anyways. And that's basically how this fight went for me in the sense. It was just they just kept falling one after another, and they just couldn't do anything. And once the only two, like I said, the ones that could really do some impact were the mediators and the geomancers. And once I took 2 of them down in the first turn.
Yeah.
So it's like
they didn't have a much to hang in there.
Right. Exactly. They couldn't hang tough.
Jake.
Rich.
The next fight is inside the cathedral.
The hall of the St. Marone Temple. And
here we have a situation that is a little bit different than that previous fight.
Say it ain't so, Rich.
Yes. Before we had nobody of note.
Right.
Here we have
King Vormov.
And who's the other guy? Lawfrey? I think.
Well, I got Rofel, who's a divine knight, and Cletion is a sorcerer.
Okay, there's 2 other dudes of note who got skills.
Yeah, a little bit.
So this fight opens with a little bit of what I would consider foolishness.
Foolishness, huh, Rich?
Full Marv's like, motherfucker, if you want to see your sister alive, you're going to give me the fucking scriptures. And Ramza being like, dude, I don't know.
Right.
And he's like, did you not fucking... I mean, to be quite honest, in this situation, I would do what Full Marv did too. I'm like, you're going to give me this because like he feels like They both have something the other person wants,
Mhm.
and Full Marv plays hardball.
Right. He's not willing to fuck around anymore.
Yeah, he's not gonna offer an ounce of give or negotiation. He's like, you're gonna give me those fucking scriptures, or I'm gonna kill your fucking sister. And Ramza's like, I'm not gonna give you shit unless you see my sister. Until I see my sister. And he's like, motherfucker, did you not just hear me?
Right.
Give me what I want, or your sister dies right now.
Yeah, we're done fucking around here.
And Ramza kind of plays halfsies and gives him the scriptures and says, I'll hold on to the stones.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that he budged at all kind of says a lot right there.
A little bit. I mean,
yeah,
it was a smart move.
I mean, in his situation, like, I think they both did, they probably both would have done exactly what I would have done. Like,
right.
In Full Marv's situation, I wouldn't have given I would have played hardball and not given a goddamn thing, because if they don't give them to me right now, I'm going to fucking kill them and take it. And kill the sister. And in Ramza's situation, I don't want to risk my sister's life, but I can't give up everything I have, so kind of giving up part of what I have and hoping that's enough.
I would.
Unfortunately.
Right, he just kind of reneges on the whole situation as far as Full Marv is concerned.
I mean, because Full Marv, he wants the stones, but what he needs is he wants the stones, but needs the book.
Right.
Because the book is what he needs to open the gate. He doesn't need, like, what he ultimately needs to do is be able to open the gate into the Necro Hall. The stones would be helpful for another thing, but, like, at the end of the day, he needs that book the most. So they gave him the thing he needed the most.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have done. I might have given him like maybe 2 stones or something. And maybe negotiate proof of life a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, in Ramza's situation, and based on what you and I have seen, that book has information, but, like, we know the stones are power.
Yeah.
In his shoes, I would have assumed that the stones are more valuable, and the book is less valuable. So I would have been likely to give up the book.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Mostly because I know what the stones mean. I don't, as far as, like, in Ramza, even in Ram, like, I don't think the book is as big of a deal until I learn here. I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah. So
right.
That's I get it. I would have made that mistake.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
you really don't totally understand the value of the book, I guess, at that point. So
yeah, there's an interesting thing here that you get a little bit more dialogue if you take Melia Duel in the fight. I didn't bring her, but she talks to her dad a little bit, and she's like, "Are you really my dad?" And he's like, "Of fucking course I am." Which
yeah, who do you think I am?
Yeah, and like. She's like, well, then why are you doing this? And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, when everybody else uses the stone, they turn into a fucking monster. And he's like, and he plays stupid. He's like, what do you mean?
What kind of bullshit are you writing?
I know. Like, I assume he's just bullshitting. Like, he fully well knows that the stones turn them into monsters. I assume they're fully corrupted. And they just have the memories of the people they've been possessed by. Like, they've been fully assimilated or whatever. Though I suppose it's possible that until they transform, they're not fully aware of just how...
what the capability is, really.
Yeah, like, they might not fully realize that, but I think they have to know. But, yeah.
You're expecting a lot there.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, these guys can be tough, but...
yeah, all you have to do is take one down.
Yeah, I mean, they can be tough, but I didn't give them the opportunity because I laced into them,
Told them how it is and how it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean...
you weren't fucking around?
One good barrage from Balthier is really all it took to put one of them on their knees and end this fight before it even began.
Yeah, I hit, I think in this scenario, I took Orlando and Agrius and I put one down through 2 bouts of holy explosion.
Yeah, so. Like, it's one of those things that if they're given the opportunity, they can bring it, but, like, who's going to let them have that opportunity, right?
Right.
Yeah, not I.
Yeah, so he just piss-pounded one of them, and that was the end of it. I don't even remember which one it was, to be honest.
Neither do I.
I just know it wasn't Vormob. I remember that much.
I know. Yeah, I know that his nameless goons who look badass but are forgettable. And here's where we go. I go down here thinking this is going to be the big fight. Going to be a big fight with him.
Right.
But
apparently not.
I mean, it also makes sense too because like of the guys who are kind of big bads at this point, like you could think either Delita is going to be a big bad or you think Fulmarv is going to be the big bad.
Right.
And like if you take out Fulmarv now, then I guess it would make Delita your only target, which would be misreading the direction this story is going to go. So Fulmarv, so you go down here and Fulmarv is basically led you down into a bit of a trap, I guess.
Oh, yeah, sort of, I guess.
It's like there's like a tomb in the middle of the room with 4 fire candelabras around it.
And you're thinking, oh, this is a real deal here or something, you know.
Yeah,
it's going down, Rich.
And he summons a couple demons and then one other familiar face.
And that is Zolbag.
And that is a little bit tragic, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's looking rough. He's kind of zombie-esque.
Right.
And his his mind is there, but his body's not really under his control, and he can't see. He can hear you, but he can't see. Like he can't see anything, and his body's acting as though the under the control of Fulmarv, essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's like, hey, your brother is essentially mind and body imprisoned by these people, and you pretty much got to put him down because he's like, whenever you see like a little bit of his portrait and dialogues, he's like, kind of looks like a corpse.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he didn't really look like a corpse to me, but
I mean, his skin is ashen. He's got like he's a little bit more sunk. The cheeks are a little more sunken in. Like he's colored more like a corpse would be. I say.
Oh well, I mean, I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I looked at it a second ago just to confirm. And
but was that for your version or for mine?
I think we used the same art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured they would enhance it just because you're playing.
The little portraits. I don't think the portraits are enhanced, so I could be wrong. But either way, you get in here and you fight some demons and you beat up your brother.
Yeah, and it is a sad fight in a sense, because I mean you're not really trying to put him down, but you're kind of forced to. So
I think that's cool. Finally putting you in a situation where you got to throw down with somebody who. Plot wise, you don't have like a thirst for like I want to fucking put this bitch in the grave. Yeah, it's just like that's a bummer,
right?
You know? And there's a bunch of demons who are always fun to kill. You know?
Yeah, demons are fun to kill. I'll kill demons all day.
All day.
Yeah,
good time.
I mean, come on, Diablo.
Yeah, I mean, Devil May Cry. Pretty much every fantasy game in existence, really. You know?
We'll put demons down like a boss, right?
Yeah. Your brother will occasionally make comments about how. He can't see anything, but he feels pain. And he's suffering. You know, he's having a bad time.
Yep.
He's having a real rough go of it.
Yeah. There's no.
He's basically begging you to kill him, like have mercy and end it. And
please kill me, please.
Like without saying as much, he's ready to go.
He's ready to take one for the team.
Yeah, and. When you finally drop him, he does say farewell and thank you, and then fucking explodes. Which,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, would you rather see the fallen corpse of your brother, or would you rather have him explode into nothingness?
I don't know.
Like just vaporized in front of you.
Like I said, I'm not totally sure about that one. That's a tough go. I mean, if the corpse is there, then you've got something to kind of mourn a little bit, you know. But if But if it's, if he's vaporized, then you don't have anything to work with.
I forgot about this. I
Uh-oh.
forgot all about this. After this scene, there's a moment where Ramza goes into the cathedral and sees all the white mage, like all the priests or whatever, laying out, and the dude who got impaled, he's
Oh,
laying
yeah.
there with a sword through his back, and he's like, "Help me! Help!" Fuck you.
Yeah.
Ramza's like, "Be strong."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's just, it just doesn't
he
work.
basically tells you where they went, that they went to Oberon.
Right.
Yeah, so Oberon Monastery, and I assume he dies after saying that, but I also like to think that Ramza's like, "Fuck this dude," and just walks away.
He ain't worth the effort.
And that's pretty much where we kind of wrapped up this playthrough.
Yep.
The next area is basically the kind of final string of the game, leading to like the end battles. We have a little bit of side stuff still.
Yep.
And we can cover most of that, I think, next episode.
Yeah.
Unless, did you do the stuff?
I got Cloud.
You got Cloud. That's good. I know you're not going to use him, but I'm glad you got him.
Yep.
Did you wrap up the side? Oh, the other thing is new for me. You don't actually get it.
Right.
There's another additional side story bit featuring Reese and B. It's a B name.
What's the face? Is her lover?
Beowulf. Yes. So there's this, and it's kind of a neat little side story where it's like two battles that deal with the betrayal that led to kind of what happened with those guys, like how Reese became a dragon and all that shit. Reese and Beowulf are like up on this hill. They're talking about how they can't return home, and you know they owe Ramza for helping them out.
Right.
And then like as they kind of Beowulf's like, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to Ramza and see what's next. Leaves her on the hill, and when he hears Reese yelling for him, and he runs back up, and there's like an old bro, Sir Aliste, who used to be his bro, but some shit has fallen between those two. It's essentially, he's like working for some dude named Celebrant Bramond.
Okay.
And he's basically kidnapped Reese.
Oh.
And it's like, no need to worry, you know, she's fine. She's just, you know, she's going back to Celebrant, to Bramond, who awaits her. And you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna fucking ruin your ass. So it leads to a battle at the castle where he's holding them, where this asshole is waiting for you at the castle gate. It's him and a bunch of other like 2 ninjas, 2 archers, and a time mage. And he's up on the castle gate. It's one of those things where it's like flat open field. We fought here earlier. I think this is where we fought one of the final fights with the mercenary dude who I really like. You remember when Ramza is trapped on one side of the gate? Yeah. Gafgarian.
Gafgarian, yeah.
It's either that exact same map or one that's very similar, where there's like a castle gate in the middle of it with a door arch that you can go through, and essentially there's a whole bunch of dudes on the other side of this, and you have to cross through to fight these guys who are like at the top of it shooting down on you.
Oh, yeah.
As you can hear, I'm being interrupted by Darcy. Hey, baby girl. What do you need? Okay, well, I'm going to finish here, and then I'm going to help you pick up, okay? Okay, baby girl? Go back to your room and play, and I'll finish up here and help you. So, long story short, it's not that hard of a fight. You just kind of rush under. Because of my guys with sword skills that can kind of hit guys on elevation differences, beating up those guys isn't that big of a deal. Apparently now she needs to use the potty? Well, then go potty, kiddo.
She needs permission.
You can go potty. Apparently it's so full.
The potty is full?
I think she's talking about her bladder.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Do you got that under control? I think she's got it under control.
You think? You sure you don't want to find out?
She'll yell if she needs me, man. During this fight, Beowulf is like, "Dude, I don't want to fight you," and he's like, "Dude, you're gonna have to." He has She's still talking. Kids, man, they'll just keep demanding your attention, even if they're in another room. She's on the potty, just talking like we're having a conversation.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, there's more that she has to tell you.
Okay, well, guys, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna go check on her, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
And we'll finish up this last teeny little bit and wrap up the episode with this. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Once again, this is another one of those strings of being interrupted by my daughter that I totally should edit out, but I'm personally so amused that I have to leave it. So, sorry, not sorry, I guess. I'm assuming you're all cool with it at this point, right? Come on, it's kind of cute, like a little bit, right? Right? No? Maybe? Fuck it. Too bad, it's my show. Deal with it. And anyway, we're getting right back to the real deal right now. All right, homie, I'm back. Let's bring this home.
Okay.
All right, so like I was saying before, this fight, not that big of a deal. If you have sword skills, range, magic, whatever, like they're not that tough. They hit hard like most enemies, but it's not that big of a deal. So you can wreck these guys pretty easy. Things get a little bit trickier after this fight, though. I'm trying to remember if there's anything good. Let me check really quickly if he has anything to say. I don't remember much about this battle, so I'm going to see if he says anything when you kill his ass. Oh, right. There's this kind of good... Now, part of the reason this dude kind of goes after you is... because you used to be bros, right? Before whatever the fuck happened between them.
Mm-hmm.
Aliste is dying. Like, he has a disease of some sort.
Oh, okay.
So, for whatever reason, that made him turn on you. And I think what the intent is less that he was betraying and more that he wanted to kind of fucking die in battle with somebody he trusted. So really, he just kind of wanted you to put him out of his misery. Like,
okay. Put him down. Don't give a damn.
I guess that's the intent. Like, he even goes down. He's like, go, save Reese. My lord. He called you his lord. And it's like, all right. So,
yeah.
Like, and he's like, yeah, like, even I can't beat fucking Malady, you know? The next fight is where this gets interesting. You roll in, and again, I think this is I swear you've been in this fight before. I think it's where we fight our first, Lucavi, I think. It's like that church area where it looks very similar, at least to that one, where it's the big chubby demon. That one, where you fight that, it's a similar environment to that area. So it's like a church area, there's a short stairs that goes up the middle, slightly elevated area, podium up there, that shit. Anyway, you show up. There's 2 ninjas, 2 samurai, 2 mages of some sort, and a big chonky dude who looks either like a priest or a cook. Like, he's got a fucking
chonky
apron.
Dude.
And this ninja rolls up and she's like, the gate's breached! And that big dude is Celebrant Bramond. And he starts quaking in his boots, just shitting his pants. And he's like, oh, fuck, they're here. And, like, even his little sprite starts just shaking up a storm. And he's like, don't come any closer. Like, basically, like, what you get from this dialogue is this dude is a undesirable wimpy bitch. And he's in love with Reese.
Right.
And I guess he's super wealthy, and he's jealous of what she had with Beowulf, And so he went to have Beowulf turned into a dragon so that he would be the only suitor worthy of her, and
It backfired.
Reese took it instead, like intentionally took it so that it wouldn't happen to Beowulf, because she never had interest in this motherfucker.
Right.
You know, but he swears up and down like the only reason that she's with him is because he's so good at talking, and he just swayed her with his words. Like, and he uses possessive words like, she's mine.
Right.
And Beowulf's like, love's not a thing that can be exchanged for good or gil, you motherfucker. Like, it's about love. You know, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's just like the worst example of a dude, you know?
Pretty much.
Like, at the end of the day, he can't deal with the fact that this chick loves him. He's got everything, money and power, and this chick does not care. So, you beat his ass, you beat up all of his soldiers, and then you think you got things under control, and things take a turn.
Again.
He turns himself into a fucking dragon.
Wow.
And, so I went into that last fight, whooped ass. I go into this fight, and I whoop ass.
Mm-hmm.
He turns into a dragon, and I'm here like, I got this. This ain't shit. Well, Jake,
you don't
I
got
got news.
shit.
I got news for you.
You don't have shit?
I don't have shit.
That's disappointing. I mean, some people have something, but sometimes they even have just shit. But you don't even have that, Rich.
I got nothing. You know, he even has a really good opening line where he's like, denied earthly pleasure, surely paradise as well, but vengeance I shall know. And you're like, okay.
Congratulations.
He's like, what are those dudes who are involved? Incel. He's just the angriest incel you've ever met. And he lays it down hard in dragon form. This guy fucking wrecks just beats me to a fucking pulp.
Puts you down like a dog.
I'm unprepared for how much ass this guy can do. That said, I nearly beat him.
Oh wow!
In the first time unprepared, like he's tearing me apart. All my guys are dying. Everyone's dead.
Oh, man.
Time is running out.
Yep.
Last guy alive is Cloud. I got
Cloud.
Like Ramza is literally on like zero. Like literally the next turn, he will turn to crystal and it'll be game over.
And he comes through, huh?
And it's like all I need is to hit one more move. Like not everyone's dead, but most of my party, there's enough of my party that's dead that I have one more turn to kill him, and I fuck up.
Oh, you fucked up.
I did. So it's like game over. Fuck. Like I fucked up. So then I get another I go back in for round 2, and like it starts out going really good. And then like I'm leaning into, because this guy's got a lot of HP, right?
Sure.
And he's a tough guy, and so I know like he's got like over 3,000 HP. I know,
wow.
like I'm hitting him hard, but he hits harder. And my guys take a couple hits getting to that point in the fight anyway, where I need him. So where I even meet up with him. So
right.
Like he is like, what am I trying to say? I become very specific leaning into Cloud for this, because foolishly I have, but Balthier is using an elemental gun. Ramza is still a black mage.
Okay.
So that this guy's elemental damage does next to nothing to this guy. He has so little faith that magic barely hurts him. So Ramza, worthless in this fight. Balthier, worthless in this fight. Me, too stupid to have changed their weaponry out when I got a chance to go in for a second time. Like I should have changed them. I should have put Ramza in as like a knight, dual handing, give Balthier a better gun. You know, something smart, but I'm a dumb person sometimes. So
sometimes.
I go in with like half my party can barely hurt this guy. So yeah,
Okay.
ultimately I basically spend this entire fight desperately trying to get Cloud in position to use his power to take him out. And I always forget the name of Cloud's powers. It's like Clim Hazard or something like that. But that pretty much is what throughout the second and even most of the first fight before it went to shit, I leaned into to beat him. So it just beat him up a little bit, and then each time I used that ability, it did progressively more and more damage. The second fight, though, the trick was that he kept moving fucking spaces over and over and never stayed in one place. So I had to really, it took forever and a lot of luck to actually be able to get the moves off in time to take him out, because as I mentioned before, Cloud's abilities, his limits, don't track the enemy you're targeting. They target only the space, so an enemy can move off that space. So yeah, long story short, second fight I was able to execute as I wanted. But it was still just like a real like knuckle biter of a fight. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Dude, do you have any since we're pretty much we're caught up, I think, and do you have any final thoughts you want to hit up on for Final Fantasy Tactics?
No, it's
not really. It's good.
Not really. Yeah, it is. It's enjoyable. And we're really, I mean, these last couple of episodes that we've done, we've been really kind of getting into the throes of things. So
yeah,
it's been pretty awesome. So
yeah. So I think for this last episode, let's go ahead and wrap things up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's finish up the game. I think we pretty much got like the last dungeon. If you want to do the optional dungeon, that's pretty much it.
I'm going to poke at it just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't remember it being particularly hard, but I could, my memory is very...
Well, there's a lot of things that you thought you remembered about this game that were like, oh!
Wrong. Very wrong. Because my memory is broken and we are old. According to younger people. So
yes, senility is here and it has arrived.
One of my best friends is about to have her second child like literally any day now. And she's talking about how like her mind is shot. And I'm like, yeah, because children plus age equals
senility.
Yeah. No, I said dementia. So,
okay.
Like, our minds are broken. So yeah, that's just what happens. Like nothing ages your brain faster than becoming a parent. It's like first kid is like 10 years, the secsecond kid is like 20 years. On
Good
top
thing I
of
don't have any of those, because I'd be up Shit's Creek right now.
I feel like I'm mentally almost 70 at this point. Like I'm
damn.
Yeah, broken. Physically and mentally.
Like,
so yeah, what am I? Dude, have you heard that new Stained album? Are we gonna go to class tomorrow in high school? God,
Limp Bizkit fucking rocks.
I can't wait to go to study hall and read the latest fucking X-Men storyline featuring Grant Morrison is taking over the book soon, and it's going to be wild. That's a deep cut for people who pay attention to comics. Yo, did you hear that Kevin Smith is going to be writing a Daredevil comic? What?
Oh, sure.
That happened in like 1999.
You read during study hall? Shit, I sleep.
Man.
That was my favorite pastime at school. Sleep.
Man, have you convinced your parents to buy you a new pair of Jinkos?
Jinkos? What the fuck are those?
Jinko jeans? Those giant, like, huge pant leg jeans that were popular in the late 90s? We never wore them because we were poor.
We couldn't afford them.
No, we couldn't, yeah. Jacob.
Richard.
If people want to reach out to us and tell us that we are awesome or terrible or
absolutely dreadful and should just drop off the face of the earth.
Well, not that. God, no. If they want to reach out and hopefully say positive things, how would they go about doing that?
Damnchocobo@gmail.com. Senility almost got me there.
That did. We pretended to be senile so long that it actually became true. Or they can reach us on social media at DamnChocobo, at the holy trinity of social media. At least what I think.
Whatever your poison is.
At least I assume these days that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are still the social media thing. Now, again, we're both almost 40, so
We're out of touch.
There could literally be 7 other social media things for people younger than us that we just don't know about, you know?
Right, like TikTok or some shit like that.
I don't think TikTok's social media.
Maybe not. It probably isn't. I'm just name dropping right now.
Man, I just want to get Jake to. Jake needs to be our official Damn Chocobo TikTok person, just so he.
Oh God!
It's just gonna be clips of being like, I don't know what this is. What is this on? Fuck, I can't tell if this is on, and it's just like you like trying to figure out if it's on, and it just like runs out of time and ends.
Tapping the camera or something.
Fuck, I can't get the sound working.
What the hell?
Rich, what is this shit? Rich, what am I supposed to do?
You told me this would work just fine.
Be like, it starts and you're like, Rich, what am I supposed to do? And you like hear me on the phone being like, I don't know, say something funny. I'm like, but what?
Something funny.
And then you just hear me being like, you hear like that sound where you can hear someone talking on the phone, but you can't hear what it is in the distance going on for like 30 seconds. And you're like, what? That's fucking stupid. And then it ends.
Why would I do that?
And then it takes off because it's like, look at this idiot who doesn't understand this platform. How did they even post these videos? Jacob, since we're wrapping up here, I know sometimes we like to reach out and like shout out a listener or something. And
you have a listener to shout out?
I do. I know a long time ago I mentioned something that like whenever a listener is doing something cool, they should let us know. And I've recently, over the years, I've talked a little bit with one of our longtime listeners, and he just started a Twitch channel. And so, yeah.
Congratulations, dude!
Yeah, and you want to reach to him at Frank is a Dark Boy. So that's FrankIsAdarkBoy. Just like it fucking sounds. Frank is a Dark Boy. He's a cool dude. We chatted a bit. He seems like a lovely fella. I've watched a little bit of his Twitch, and he's a heartfelt, just a good dude. And he's been playing Final Fantasy VI's Pixel Remaster. So,
Ooh, I need to check that out.
Yeah, give him a check. Check him out. He seems like a really good dude. And, if you need more incentive, people who are into this sort of thing, ladies and dudes, he's a handsome fella, and he clearly takes care of himself. So, wink, wink. If you need more incentive, hopefully I'm embarrassing him a little bit. So, give him a check out.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so, otherwise, I got nothing else, man.
Sweet.
Finish the game.
Yeah. Let's rip that shit.
Do you wanna say the ending call out?
The ending call out.
We end every episode.
Who I'm dedicating this episode to?
No, we end the episode a specific way every time, and I'm trying to get you to do it.
What, fuck off?
There you go, fuck off.
I always do that. I do that more than you do. Fuck off.
Yeah, but sometimes I try to non-verbally lead you to say it. And
well,
I did a poor job.
Okay. Yeah. You can't lead me to do anything.
That is absolutely true. There's literally no leading this person to do anything. Fuck off. Just we're done. Jacob.
Richard.
Jake, it's time for dedications, and I feel like I have a couple dedications that I'd like to drop here.
Well, congratulations. Why don't you just drop them and let's go?
Well, I don't know if you're mentally prepared for that.
I am. Believe me. I am mentally prepared for your dedication. Because
Okay.
I always go first, so I'm going to give you age before... Wait a minute, I'm older. Never mind.
Age before beauty? Wow.
But I'm older, so that's the problem. That doesn't work.
Okay, well then I am going to.
Well, I thought you had these all set up and ready to knock down.
You know,
What the
I
fuck?
did, but I wanted to pull up the thing real quick. So
You got to pull up your thing.
God, I hate you so much. I hate you.
I don't need a thing to tell you who my dedications are.
You know what? Fine. I'm gonna dedicate this to the. I've been playing Elden Ring lately. It's a good game.
Of course you have.
Jake will never ever touch it because anything with the concept of soul, like any Souls type game, scares him away because he's terrified.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
And so you're definitely going to get some more Final Fantasy 14 episodes here in the near future because I promised them. I'm distracted by Elden Ring. But in the spirit of Elden Ring, I feel like I need to shout out a couple bosses in Elden Ring who can fuck right off. And
dude, these are supposed to be Final Fantasy related.
Shut the fuck up. We're going to call out the Tree Sentinel. We're going to call out Godric the Grafted. And, I think those guys can just eat shit. Fuck those guys. Fuck them. Fuck them real hard.
In the ass.
Yeah, they suck. Patches can eat a dick, They're just real asshole. The dragon, there's a dragon in a lake whose name I don't know. That guy can also fuck right off.
Oh wow, there's a lot of people that could fuck off.
Oh my god, all damn day. There's so many. Pretty much all of them, honestly. There's also Margit, the Fell Omen. That dude.
Okay, you can only have one dedication, Rich.
Also, there is any chest that's trap, and there's one specific, and when you play the game and you hit it, you'll know it's a fucking trap. Fuck that chest. Fuck it right, and wherever it doesn't want to get fucked. Fuck that chest.
Wow.
Yeah. Fuck
quite
rats. Rats suck ass. Yeah,
Are
fuck
you done?
smithing stones because
Apparently
it took
not.
me a while to find where those were. Yeah, all right, that's enough. Fuck these knights that are in
I
this.
thought you said that was enough.
One of the castles you have to go to early on in the game. There's these big 8-foot fucking tall knights, and they just lay into you like a motherfucker. Fuck those guys. I'm done. Enough Elden Ring.
Are you sure?
There is a GIF I saw online the other day that I think might appropriately kind of wrap up Souls games in a way that Jake might perhaps understand, and why.
No.
I think, and I don't know if it would convince you to play it, but maybe other people, if you're scared away. And it was a GIF that was like, there was a caption that said, first playthrough, and it had a video of a dude who was like wandering hallways and looking absolutely terrified and freaked out, and it was kind of like pacing really, really fast, like, everything is terrifying, and I'm fucked, that sort of thing. And then it switched to the second clip where it was like, second playthrough. And it was Christian Bale, naked with a chainsaw, covered in blood, running through a hallway laughing from American Psycho.
American Psycho.
Yeah. Because that really kind of sums up a Souls game. Like, your first time through, you don't know where anything is. You don't know where you're going to get fucked. You don't know where the weapons are. You don't know what to level up. And your second time through, you know everything's weakness. You know where your ideal gear is. You know what to level up. You are mentally and emotionally prepared to annihilate everything and do so. So
gotcha.
that is a Souls game in a nutshell. Jacob, what is your dedication for this episode?
I believe it is to Dice Dark. I believe he was the douchebag that decided to take over Zalbag and whatnot. And I thought that was totally horrendous of him to do that to his fellow brother like that. That's a little bit of horse shit play there. Here's a guy that's a person that's been growing up with you all your life, and you slaughter him and then raise him back to the dead to go after your other brother. What kind of fucked up shit is that?
I mean, he didn't raise him.
Well, no, he didn't raise him, but he said, okay, he was there, for the better part of, they were, part of each other's lives for the better part of their lives.
No, I mean, he's not the one who killed him and turned him into a fucking zombie.
Oh. Who's that then?
That was, God, I'm bad with names.
Yeah, clearly senility.
Or
dementia. Maybe both.
You have the character who's recently joined the party. It's the chick with the green cloak. Her dad.
Amelia Duel?
Yeah, her dad.
Oh.
D something.
Vormov.
Vormov. It's not a D. It's a V.
Vormov.
Close.
Vormov.
Senility.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. Yeah, that douchebag. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah,
he's
that
the guy
guy's
who
a
did
douchebag.
it.
Yeah, that douchebag. I don't like him. Yeah.
So it can
it's
be
dedicated to him.
That's dedicated to both. Both of your brothers, because they're both kind of idiots. Let's be honest.
I
I'd rather just do it to Vormov and Dicestard. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, both of those guys. Fuck them.
Yeah. Those guys are assholes. So.
That's a fact. Jake, we had already talked about Batman, so we're not going to talk about Batman for the listeners, but I will say, listener, you should go check out Batman.
I say check out 1883. That's a good show.
Is it?
It's an offshoot prequel to Yellowstone.
Okay. People should also check out...
Your mom.
What, that would actually be a terrible idea for everyone, honestly. For my mom and for the person who's checking them out. Neither person would have a good time. It would be awful. You should also check out Ministry, the band. I've been listening to a lot of Ministry lately, so it's good shit.
Okay.
You should check out late 90s Batman comics, like Cataclysm on forward.
Or the Batman the Animated Series, apparently.
I mean, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's good, but I'm actively reading Batman comics, and I just got to the late 90s. So.
Well, but that's something they should check out.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't, you should.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like maybe a lot of people may have missed out on, the No Man's Land era of Batman comics. So.
I see.
It's like this. The 90s is all about fucking up Gotham City, and things just
and
keep
being
getting
edgy
worse
and hardcore.
Well, yeah, but just the city's going through hard times, and then it gets hit.
Is there a time when Gotham isn't going through hard times?
Yeah, but it's like worse than normal. Like a bunch of there's a fucking plague hits it like twice, and then it gets hit by a fucking earthquake, and then the fucking government's just like, you know what? We're just sealing off Gotham City, and it's no longer part of the United States. Gotham City.
Like Arkham City.
Yeah, kind of. But Arkham City is like a prison.
I understand the concept.
Yeah.
But this is the United States is just treating Gotham the same way. It's just not
the whole thing. Yeah. They're just like fuck it.
So
it's almost like Escape from LA, kinda, or Escape from New York. Escape from New York and LA. It's the same idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't one like a sequel to the other?
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's just the same idea, A big city gets fucking like the government's like, fuck this place.
Right. Fuck it all.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you done yet?
I am.
Good.
You gonna let people go?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay. Have fun, guys.
Yep,
See you next episode.
Fuck off.